What up, everybody? Thanks for checking into the Brown Mamba podcast. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and this is just gonna be a quick week in review, kind of recap podcast. Just touching on a couple of things that happened this week. I know I took a little bit of a break from doing, the usual amount of podcasts, but got real busy this week, and just trying to get back on that high horse and get right back into it. So. Starting off the week in review, just going over a couple NBA things. I guess the big, news thing this week was all the injuries that happened. We all knew about Kevin Love's injury, and I guess apparently it comes out that he's gonna be out for a little bit more than expected, potentially with they say like what 6 to 8 weeks, but that usually could mean 10 weeks. It could mean who knows. But then another pretty bad one was the Kyle Lowry injury. He had like something going on with his wrist, and he had to get some like debris or bone fragments removed from his wrist. He's gonna be out. They said for the rest of the season, which really sucks. And speaking of out for the season, we got news that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are gonna be out for the rest of the season as well. Which, again, that just really, really, really sucks. In the case of Embiid and Simmons. Simmons, you always wanted to see him, in his rookie year, had all the hype and stuff, so that's really tough. But Joel Embiid, man, like he was playing so well. He was definitely on his way to a rookie of the year, but it's hard to give it to him. I think they said he's played like only 30 games, so I mean it's hard to give a guy who's only played 30 games, rookie of the year when he hasn't even played, barely a third of the season. But again, it just sucks for those two guys. Hopefully they get back on the court soon and. Next year they come out, looking like the team that we all think that the Sixers had the potential to be. But, over to the Lowry thing, it just sucks to see, you would hate to see the playoffs be impacted by, a team like the Raptors not having such an important part of their team. And that goes both for the Warriors, too. I mean, them losing KD, to that, hyperextended knee. I mean, that's just real tough, I mean, the Warriors are still the Warriors. Everyone knows that. They still got Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Steve Kerr and stuff. But, Kevin Durant was really coming into his own, and they were really starting to get a groove going. And, the kind of guys were starting to figure out their place, and it was all starting to kind of, they were starting to get it rolling at the right time. But, no, like I said, you really would hate to see the playoffs be affected as a result of injuries. I mean, every team wants to face the other team at their best, so that way they truly know that, oh yeah, we earned it because we beat them at their best. And I just hope that, KD's thing isn't as bad as, it seems, and he can get out on the court soon. Same thing for Lowry. Hopefully something goes better and, they have like a breakthrough or something. He gets out there, and Kevin Love too for the Cavs. I mean, we know that they signed Derek Williams for the rest of the season. They're about to sign Darian Williams and Andrew Bogut. So they're kind of replacing him, not replacing him, but they're trying to fill in the blanks in his absence. But there's no really replacing a guy like Kevin Love and how important he's been. So yeah, that's just some of the injuries around the league. Injuries suck. I mean, there's no ways around that. But they do happen, and I hope like I said, these guys get back on the court sooner than later, and we can get the full potential of the playoffs that we're all hoping we can get, and especially if we can get a full rematch between the Warriors and the Cavs in the finals. All right, and I know it seems like the season just ended, but already getting back to some NFL talk. If you don't know, the Combine starts this weekend. Today we got the running backs and the linemen and stuff, and then the rest of the weekend we have the rest of the players. Me personally, I for some reason the Combine is the most fascinating thing to me because we all know that the Combine itself doesn't how if someone has the fastest 40 or benches presses 225 the most times or has the best shuttle or a long jump or whatever, it doesn't necessarily equate to them being the best player or the best prospect or, you know what I mean? But we still watch anyway. It's crazy, I mean, I feel the same way. It's just because this guy is the biggest and the fastest and the strongest and stuff. Like I said, it doesn't mean that they're the best, or they're gonna try to be the best. But how many times, you know, have we seen the guy who blows everybody away with their measurables and their combine stats, and turn out to be just an average Joe, or a bust or something like that. So, and then the guy who most famously, like Tom Brady, didn't have the greatest combine, but come out and he's Tom freaking Brady. So I like to watch the combine just for like to see everyone likes the 40. That's the real the real sexy um, you know uh, event and stuff like that, and the bench press too. But I like to watch the tight ends. Pause. I have this uh I wouldn't, not fascination, but I'm just like, the tight end is my favorite position in football, so I'll always try to stay on top of who's the top guy coming out, and who they are and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be watching that on Saturday. Hopefully I can get around to actually seeing it live, and I already got it recorded, but yeah. So stay tuned for a lot more tight end talk, especially from me. So. And then all the other great prospects too. I mean, like I said, it's a fascinating thing to me. I like I said, I still don't really understand why everyone watches it so much. It's pretty crazy, but you know I'm a big hypocrite, just like the rest of us. So yeah, so make sure you guys tune into the NFL Combine to check out the latest top NFL prospects this weekend. And another thing I wanted to touch on quickly was so. Crazy ton of times right now. Definitely it's one of those like not humbling moments, but it's kind of like one of those things where if you don't know, Adrian Peterson and Jamal Charles were both essentially let go by their teams, and those are two guys who I grew up watching. Like they were like they were in their peak when I was like in high school, when I was like in high school, when I was like old enough, when I was still playing football in high school, and able to like understand football more. And so it's like I grew up watching them, and I saw them at their physical peak and how just truly amazing these guys were. And now to see them, succumb to injuries and just get released, essentially not even, that's it. It wasn't like they got traded because they just got straight released. And these were two guys that, when you were watching them, and it happens every generation. You watch these guys and you're like, man, these guys definitely might break the mold. And, Adrian Peterson is the second coming of Walter Payton, and, Jamal Charles is another great running back who this and that. And you think these guys are going to break the mold, but it's sad how, just like everyone else, they, Father Time is undefeated. And I bring all this up because there's a lot of chatter about possibly bringing AP to the Raiders, and which is crazy to say, considering AP's released and he's a free agent and this and blah blah blah. But the crazier thing is, as a Raider fan myself, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I mean, I know that they're potentially gonna let Latavius Murray go, or just they're gonna let him explore his options in free agency. I know that he definitely hadn't progressed the way that people thought he was going to, and especially with the emergence of Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington. I mean, there's definitely a lot of running backs down up in Oakland right now, and I don't know if they bring in a guy like AP or even Jamal Charles, even if I haven't heard anything about Jamal Charles, but if they bring in guys like that, their experience, that they can bring to these young guys who are potentially the future for the running back situation in Oakland, would be, you can't compare anything to it. That's you can't compare that, having two greats of their generation be potential mentors to these young guys. But it's just, if you bring a guy like AP in, given his injury history over the last few seasons, it's like, does he start right away? I don't know. And if he does, if you do sign him, do you take a risk, of him potentially getting injured again or something like that? So I don't know. Um, I never, ever, ever thought I would say, um, you know, oh, I don't know how I feel about bringing a guy like Adrian Peterson or Jamal Charles onto, the Raiders, considering, the history of both the Raiders and these great players, but especially because they're still relatively, young. They're about late 20s, early 30s for both of them. They're around the same age, so they still have a lot of football left. I mean, I know it's a running back, and running back shelf life is they're definitely anomalies to the running back shelf life. I think its average is like 2 years, and then they've been as dominant as they've been for like 5, 6 years, 7 years. So it's tough to see. It's a definitely a weird situation, but um, you know, I I wish nothing for the best for those guys because, like I said, you hate to see you know these greats go through the ringer like this and bounce from team to team and situation to situation and kind of not go out the way that they wanted to. Um, but like I said, you can't deny the experience and that they would bring would definitely help the young guys, especially on the Raiders. But man, I don't know, and yeah, just gonna have to wait. Still way too early to make a decision or anything like that, or see where they go. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, because it's the Raiders are actually in a good spot for once in a long time, and don't want to potentially ruin what we have going forward. All right, and finally, so I'm gonna be out front. I'm not the biggest hockey fan. I'm just like everybody else, essentially. If there's a good game on, if it's on, I'll watch it. If there's a good game on, I'll check it out. And I really would only watch in the playoffs. And again, I know whatever I sound like everyone knows, but for those of you who don't know, some pretty big news came across yesterday. The great voice of the LA Kings, Bob Miller, is going to be retiring. He had some health issues earlier this season, and it's just it's his time. Like you said, it's his time to just focus on himself, focus on his health, and big loss for the LA sports community. I know I'm not the only one saying this. A lot of people are out there saying this, that it's crazy just to think that in a short span, I think in like 5-6 months or so, LA sports would be losing both Vin Scully and Bob Miller. Like I said, I'm not the biggest hockey fan, so I don't have any crazy Bob Miller stories or anything like that. But as a sports fan and an LA sports fan more specifically, I understand Bob Miller's significance and his importance to not just the hockey community, but again, to the LA sports community in general. He's been around for quite some time now, and a lot of guys are tweeting and Instagramming pictures of that infamous picture from that Fox Sports thing that they did, where it was Chick Hearn, Vin Scully, and Bob Miller all together. And for a lot of people out there, not me particularly, because I'm still I'm relatively young, but those three guys were the voices of a lot of Los Angelinos childhood or sports childhood. They grew up listening to Chick call Laker games, Vin call Dodger games, and Bob Miller call King games. And it's kind of just one of the things where, kind of going back to what I was saying before, it's you think these guys, certain guys will keep going forever and they'll break the mold, and it's just like I said, Father Time is undefeated, and he finds his way to to get everybody. So like I said, I'm not out here trying to front like I'm some hockey aficionado or hockey this guy, that guy. Just a casual fan, and just wanted to pay my respects and wish the best of luck to all his future endeavors. Bob Miller, thank you for everything you've done for LA sports, and thank you for all you've done for the Kings. All right, so that's it for this week. I wanted to, like I said, just wanted to get back on the horse and start recording some pods again and get going with a little week in review. And like always, if you like what you heard, go subscribe, like, share, comment. You know, how do you feel about some of these, how these injuries or what the Raiders should do or not do, or what's your thoughts on the combine and all that other stuff, or anything like that? If I don't know what your thoughts are, so go ahead and give me a follow and all the ads down below. You can hit me up at any time, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. And like always, thanks for watching, however you're watching. Thanks for listening, however you're listening. Thanks for showing love and support. Appreciate all of you guys. And yeah, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.